The meaning of the first mantra, Asatoma, from the Chandogya Upanishad. Lead me from the unreal to the real. Lead me from darkness to light. Lead me from death to immortality. The second mantra, Sahana Vavatu, is taken from the Taittiriya Upanishad. May we all be protected. May we all be nourished. May we all work together with great energy. May our intellect be sharpened. May our study be effective. And let there be no animosity amongst us. And we chant peace 3 times. Basically, we are praying for peace at 3 different levels. One is at the Adhyatmika level, which is the body, where we pray to the Lord that we don't have any sort of ailments, discomfort, uneasiness at the level of the body and mind. Second peace chanting is for Adi Bhautika, where externally it could be any sort of a disturbance from your friends, relatives, associates, neighbors, that I am on an endeavor of a spiritual achievement, so let me not have any sort of disturbance from the outside world. And the last peace chanting is for Adi Daivika, wherein you are asking the divine forces to support you in this endeavor, where there is no excess rain, there are no earthquakes, hurricane, or any kind of pandemics. So, which hamper your studies. So that kind of a peace you are praying for. And also we chanted Om thrice. I would like to give you all a brief idea. Why do we chant Om thrice? Om is primarily comprises of 3 basic components, which is A, U and Ma. So every time when we chant Om, you have to say that I am not this, I am not this. Meaning you are moving away from your unreal to the real self. With the help of knowledge, you are moving from darkness towards light, which is I am not the gross body, I am not the subtle body, nor I am the causal body. And then there is a silence in between before you chant the next Om. So in that silence, you have to invoke that pure consciousness, existence. Feel the presence of this within yourself. And then move to the next chanting Om again, where you again say, I am not the waking world, I am not the dream world, nor I am the deep sleep world. Then there is a silence again, that is known as the Turiya. After these 3 comes the 4th one, which is the truth, that is Turiya. And in Sanskrit, Turiya means 4. But that is the supreme truth, which is Satchit Ananda. And then you chant once again Om, where you say, I am not the Sattva, I am not the Rajas, nor I am the Tamas. So you are defying all that what you are not. And in intervals, you say, this is my true nature, which is the Satchidananda Paramatma, the pure consciousness. So that any number of times, whenever you chant Om, if you chant with this meaning, you're really sending subconsciously strong vibrations to your mind. And then the attachment towards this body-mind complex gradually reduces. All this knowledge is only to gain that real understanding of ourselves, and this will help you in realizing that. Even Om chanting with knowledge-based Om chanting. Okay. So here we are today on Discourse, Divine Discourse 24, 2nd of May 2020. The Hindu Panchang goes as follows. Sharvari Nam Samvatsar, Uttarayan, Vasanta Rutu, Vaishakha Mas, Shukla Paksh, Navami, and a Saturday. We invoke the grace of the Almighty to make this knowledge a living experience for all of us. We offer our humble salutations to the entire Guru Parampara for having made this knowledge available to us. We start. Now, yesterday we were looking at the Sadhana Chatushtaya, which means what are the qualifications of a eligible student. For any aspect in life, you know there is a set of pre-qualifications. You need to have those qualifications. Then there are various tests you need to pass them, and then you are given a particular assignment. In the same way, for the path of spiritual knowledge, you also need to have certain qualifications. And what are we trying to understand from these qualifications? Firstly, what these qualifications are. And secondly, we are trying to understand if so and so are the qualifications, then do I have them? And if I do have them, how much do I have them? So, assessing your levels at what you are, you thereupon you try to increase those levels. And if you don't have them, you need to acquire those levels, those particular qualifications. So we learned the first was Nitya Anitya Vastu Viveka. The Viveka Shakti, meaning the power of understanding, discriminating between what is the truth and what is untruth, what is permanent and what is not permanent. So which means in life, what is Shreya and what is Preya? All these, then only you are always on the right path, isn't it? Every point we say, you have to pause, think, is this taking me to the right destination? Now my goal is to reach the Lord's feet. If I have that as my goal, then am I moving in the right direction day by day? The second comes Vairagya, a decent amount of dispassion in this world, not to be excessively attached to persons and objects. In other words, an absence of desire to enjoy pleasure. Getting too much involved in the sensuous pleasure, there should gradually be an absence of desire. Then the third qualification came, Shama Adi Shat Sampati. Shama and 5 other Shat, 6 Sampatis means wealth. So these are like jewels for a sadhak. If he has these kind of qualifications in full bloom, which means his sadhana is going to go stronger and better. That is what the Shastras talk about. So in that we learnt about Shama, which is mastery of the mind. Then we learnt about the second one, Dhamma, which is mastery over the senses. Then the third one, we spoke about Uparama, which is primarily keeping away from sense gratification and abidance in Shama and Dhamma. And the fourth one was Titiksha, about endurance, taking the pinpricks of life with a smile. whatever comes. And now, today we are going to study about the fifth and sixth, which is Shraddha and Samadhana, followed by the fourth main qualification, which is Mumukshutvam. Mumukshutvam is intense desire for God realization. So, like if you have Bubukshutvam, that is known as intense desire for worldly things. You want to experience everything in the world. You want to see every place in the world. You want to know everybody in the world. That is like too much intense desire towards the world. So Mumukshutvam is for God realization. So now we'll go in detail studying what is the Shraddha, the fifth jewel, what we call in terms of a qualification. Now, as we all know, Shraddha, which we have been listening right from our childhood, it is primarily trust, faith. In what? In God, in the Shastras, in the Guru, and in the elders and in the well-wishers. Now, you may say, okay, why do we need trust for God or for Shastras? Say, for example, now for seeing you need eyes, for hearing you need ears. Likewise, for taste you need tongue, for the sense of touch you need skin. But to understand the Supreme Power Satchidananda, it is very clearly written in the Shastras, it is not an object, it is the subject by itself. It is not the seen, but it is the seer. As eyes cannot see eyes by themselves, in the same way, the experiencer, the subject, Satchit Ananda, you cannot see or know it through your mind. So then what do you need? You need a pramana, which are the Vedas and the Shastras. Now, if I ask you, do we know our date of birth? Yeah, of course, we know our date of birth. How do you know your date of birth? My parents told me. Which means what? You have a decent amount of Shraddha, right? Faith in what they told you. I'm just giving a simple example. So, if you start questioning there, then, life becomes too much of a mess. Everywhere you can start questioning. So, whenever you have questions also, it should be meaningful and reasonable. It should be logical. So, in the same way, now the Shastras, you have to have that trust. I'm not saying that one should go with blind faith. With an amount of faith, you should be basically ready to first listen and analyze, ask questions, doubts, and then you reject or accept. A decent amount of faith to take it to a point and reject, but not outrightly reject at the very first go. This is nonsense. No. Listen, no. So that way, now here you are having faith in God, and I'm telling you, this is something which one should understand from what has happened in the past. That builds up your faith. Now, personally, I give lot of importance for this Shraddha. Why? This is something which is more of an a feeling which one can do. You have to just surrender. You have to accept. And Shastras are saying they are saying don't take it on blind faith. Reason it out. What more you want? But all the other qualities are so strong and fearful, like Shama, Dhamma. In the initial case, it is very difficult to practice them. So I personally give more impetus to Shraddha, and then you start your journey in terms of building the other qualifications. It's worth mentioning here, you all must have heard of Guruvayur temple in Kerala, where the deity is Guruvayurappan, Lord Krishna. Guruvayurappan. There was one person, a devotee, a very ardent devotee, named Puntanam, who was in his about early 70s, and right from his youth, from the age of about 20, he had a ritual to visit Guruvayurappan temple every Purnima, which means once in a month. So this he was doing for the last more than 50 years. His faith was so strong. Now this is an actual story. It has happened about 80, 90 years back. So what he used to do? He used to travel from his hometown to the temple, and the first hours of the Purnima, full moon day, is to take darshan of Lord Krishna there. And those days travel was by road, and didn't have any vehicle or anything, so the mode was walking. And in between there was a thick, dense forest. As you all know, Kerala is with lot of greenery and vegetation, dense forest. So one day he set off on his journey. It was delayed for some reason, but he had to reach by the next day morning. So what he did was, as he came to the forest in between, that is on the way of his journey, he did not take a break. He said, let me cross the forest as much as I can so that I'll be able to reach during the first hours of the next day. So he keeps his journey on. During the night and the moonlight, thick forest, here and there, barely he could see some light touching the ground. He managed to walk through. Since he knew the trail, it was much easier for him. And as he's walking in the thick forest, at one point, 4 dacoits come and pounce on him. They physically manhandle him. First thing they ask is, give what all you have. So this poor man, what he did, he gave away the money, he had some eatables, he gave away the eatables, then he had a ring, he gave away the ring. All that he had, he gave in terms of valuables. One robber, dacoit, he cleverly noticed that there was something on in his side bag, which was tied to his trunk, and which he did not give. So he noticed and he said, give that. And Puntanam resisted. He was not giving. Now they got a doubt. They started insisting, you give. He is resisting. In that he was beaten badly. He's trying to profusely hold that bag of his. And eventually, the dacoits were young enough and they overpowered him and they snatched the bag. And they opened the bag and they see there was Bhagavatam book in that bag. That's all, nothing else. Now he's pleading, he's saying, please don't take this, please don't take this. And the robbers saw that, they flipped it over. And in that process, what happened? A young man on a horse was passing by. He heard these noises and he came, and he could make out that these were dacoits and all that, and he properly thrashes the dacoits, he fights with them, and the dacoits run away. They give all the valuables back and they run away. Now that young soldier-like person, he gets down from his horse, he had a sword, everything, and he comes and he gives all the belongings to Puntanam, and he says, sir, please take these. Now he asks, oh God, you saved me at the right moment, otherwise this Bhagavatam would have gone. And he asks, who are you? He said, I'm the minister from this neighboring kingdom here, and some Jamburi kingdom. So I was passing by and heard your noises and I came. He was very thankful to him. He felt like, a young man, like his son. So what he did, he had that ring. He gives that ring as a present to this young minister. He says, you have saved me. I can't tell you what you have done to me. Please accept this. The minister is not accepting. But then again, he insisted, you are like my son. You have to take it. I have to give you something. Please don't make me feel guilty. Please take. Eventually, the minister accepts and he goes away. Now, this old man, he continues his journey. And now something very indifferent happens. The priest of this Guruvaroyappan temple, in his dream, he gets a flash of that Lord coming in and telling him that, look, on my right finger, you will see a ring tomorrow, and there will be a devotee, describes him so and so, he'll come at this time, you hand over that ring to him. This priest gets up with a shock. See, even today, the grandchildren of that priest are there. So the priest gets up with a shock. He hurriedly takes a bath and he goes to the temple much before his normal time. He cleans the temple, cleans the idol, and then he sees on the right hand, exactly as described, there is a ring. Now earlier there was no ring. He takes this ring and he is waiting for the devotee to come. And as the devotee comes, he runs towards him. He offers his pranam to the devotee and he gives the ring to him. He says, this is what happened last night. I got a dream and Guruvaroyappan, he said this, and please take this ring. The moment the ring fell into the palm of Puntanam, he had tears in his eyes. He says, oh Lord, this is my ring. So which means you came yesterday night and saved me. Dear friends, this is a true story. Meaning, such things can happen when your faith, your trust, your devotion is so deep and strong. The deeper and stronger it is, you can see such things. Nothing to be surprised about. There are several stories on these lines. The more you start reading this, the more your confidence happens. And then you will see miracles happening in your life also. Because you have invoked that trust in the Almighty, the superpower. Do we have any other better time to understand what is the power of this superpower in the current situation? What stage it has brought us to today, the entire planet? And what is it? Insignificant. That is the power of God. So surrender is a very apt thing which one can do, and very easy. Now if we ask you, you choose between standing on one leg for 3 hours in front of the Lord, or you want to do a Sashtanga Namaskar surrender. I think we all would do Sashtanga Namaskar and surrender. Standing on one leg for 3 hours is something which is very difficult. The same are the other sadhanas. Not that we cannot do, but this is much easier. Invoke this more and more, more and more. Build up to an extent which is humongous, and start seeing miracles in your lives. And here the Shastras also said, don't have Andhashraddha. That is very bad. You should have a decent amount of reasoning, understanding of what is told. In one of the ashrams, the teacher was talking about what we normally say, see God in everything. We did know the Sat Chit, the existence aspect we said. Eventually everything comes from the 5 elements, which is an atom, and then subatomic particles, the quarks, the antiquarks, and we went to the final part, which was the God particle. So see God in everything because He's there. And this student, he's understood the lesson very well. Yes, I should practice seeing God in everything. Sarvatma Bhava. He takes that very strong in his mind. And after the class, he sets out of the ashram. As he's going along the road, he sees a huge mob coming. Run, run, run. From what? They're saying there's a mad elephant coming there. Run. Hey, he says, get lost. I know God is there in everything. What you're saying, run. He's merrily and with a fearful gait, he's moving on the road. Now then the Mahut is shouting from there. Now the elephant has come. The Mahut is sitting on the elephant. He's shouting, hey Munivar, please get out of the road. I am not able to control this elephant. It has gone mad. He is smiling. Sarvatma Bhava. See God in everything. Then the elephant comes, it picks him up and throws him into the bushes. The ashramites are wondering, where is this fellow gone? He is not to be seen. Then all of them go in search of him, and finally they find him in the bushes. They pick him up and come. He said, what happened? Then he tells his teacher, Swamiji, what did you tell me? You told me see God in everything, and you see what did I, this is all the result of what you taught me. He says, what happened? You said this, and then the elephant came, it did this to me. And then he asked, did anybody else tell you anything? Yes, this happened. He said, then didn't you see God in those 30-40 people who alarmed you before the elephant came? Didn't you see God in that Mahut who was shouting and telling you that there is a mad elephant? So this is Andhavishwas. So you should not go on such kind of faith. And what is trust in the Guru? This is also important. We need to understand each aspect clearly so that trust in what way and from what perspective one needs to be clear. So here there's a ashram He's teaching this divine knowledge, and the king is reached a decent ripe age in life, develops interest in seeking God's knowledge. He comes to the guru and he says, I want to join the ashram and learn at your feet. My children are grown up. I would like to hand over my kingdom to them. Now, the teacher looks at the student, that is the king, and he says, here Arjun, I should be very honest with you. Now you have come at an odd time in between the year. The entire accommodation in the ashram is full. So I can see space in that pig's den. There is some space. So you can live there and study. The king doesn't like this. He says, I am a king, and what this teacher is telling me to go and stay there in the pig's den and study. He gives some reason and he says, I'll get back to you, and he goes away. After 2 months, he comes back again. And then he says, Swamiji, is it okay, like next to the ashram, I construct a small house for myself and I live there and study? He says, no, I would not approve of that. It will disturb the functioning of the ashram and it's so he again goes back. But his yearning for study is very strong. So then again comes one day. He comes with his baggage. He straight goes to the pig's den. He places all that in the den. Then he goes to the teacher and offers his pranams. He says, Swamiji, I've kept my baggage in the pig's den. I'm ready to learn. Then the teacher embraces the king and says, now you're ready. Come, bring the baggage. You stay with me in my kutia. So the faith in the teacher is also extremely important, because the teacher knows from where he or she has to start taking the student forward. What has to be told, how much has to be told, to what extent has to be told. So that faith also is extremely important. So this is all about Shraddha. One needs to be extremely deep on this factor, which can show you miracles in life. Now the sixth qualification is Samadhana. Samadhana is concentration, single pointedness, absorption during all your stages in Shravana, Manana and Nididhasana. What we call Shravana is when you all are listening now. Shravana is basically to hear. So you all are listening to me, and after listening, what happens? You may get doubts on what you have heard. I didn't understand this, or this is not clear to me. So that is where you contemplate. All the doubts have to be clarified, and you have to be thoroughly convinced with what is told. And the third stage is abiding in that knowledge, what you have learned and you are convinced about, is Nididhyasana. So these being the three stages, in all these three stages, one needs to have a decent amount of samadhana. At every point, focus on what your kaya, manasa, vacha. Kaya means what your body is doing, what your mind is thinking, and vacha is what is the tone of your speech. As they say, what is said is not important, but how you said it is more important. In our daily life, you can see the same thing. If it is mellowed down and told, it does not create that much of a ruckus. We normally say, no, I just said this. You go after an incident has occurred, you tell somebody, I just told this fellow, yeah, only this much I told. And what, he has made a mountain of a molehill. Why is he behaving like this? See, what he said, the person is reporting to you, is narrating the incident. But how he said, that is not told. Correct? So that's how. He must have said in a very different and rude manner. That's how all these differences must have occurred. So how you say something is important. So the focus, you have that steadfastness, the concentration, single-pointedness on each and every aspect. Kaya, manasa, vacha. How you are behaving, bodily wise. Mentally, what are the thoughts coming in your mind? Any action is nothing but a result of a thought which originated in your mind. So that way, keep your focus. Check on the Shadripus constantly. Kama, Krodha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, Lobha. All these six are forts, I told you, they are enemies to us. See that you constantly, am I getting too angry? Am I getting too greedy? Are my desires propelling continuously in my mind? Am I showing off too much? Likewise, on all these six fronts, these are like the dashboard meters. Keep a check. Why meters have to be so visible in front of the driver on the dashboard or in front of the pilot? Because they give you an indication of what is going right, what is going wrong, and where it is. Similarly, we need to have that as a dashboard in front of us and keep monitoring it. Then, are you dedicating your activities to the Lord? Keep looking at that. We said, no, Vishnu Preranaya Vishnu Prityartam, Shiva Preranaya Shiva Prityartam. Then you are divinizing all your actions. Whatever small deed you must have done. You must be sweeping, or you may be swabbing the floor. The act is not important. The intention behind the act is important. That is karma yoga. Sweeping is karma. Doing it as a love towards the Lord divinizes that action into karma yoga. So this is what we have learned. Are we doing that? That comes from samadhana, because you have to have focus, right? Otherwise you will lose on the dedication. So that much only became a karma. It never turned into a karma yoga. Because your entire life during the day can become a worship. It's not like just in 5 minutes you pray in front of the Lord in your puja room, or you go to a temple for 5 minutes and you come out and you say, bye bye God, let's catch up tomorrow morning, same time, same place. It's not that way. We don't want that kind of a worship. We want to divinize our activities. And for that, having knowledge of such activities and such pointers and great secrets which are given to us by the scriptures, imbibe them in your life. Enhance the punya, the good deeds proportion in yourself. Swap the punya for chitta shuddhi, chitta ekagrata, and get absorbed in that divine knowledge. So goal to reach the abode of the Lord or God realization is what we have in mind, and we should ensure that we are going to succeed in that. Okay, we'll continue a little bit more on Samadhana tomorrow, and then we'll take up Mumukshutvam also. Let's do a meditation. Yeah. And I had an announcement. Tomorrow, I think we had mentioned earlier, we will not have a class on Sunday. And Monday onwards, we'll continue, because although there is this lockdown thing has been postponed, but still, I think we have a new window for taking up these classes. I would request all of you to attend. So please be comfortable wherever you all are. Keep your body straight and erect. Your back, neck and spine in a straight line. If any part of your body is in discomfort or aching, please adjust your body and make yourself comfortable. Your eyes are gently closed. As though two petals are sitting one above the other. Keep a smile on your face. Relax your entire face and body. See that your forehead is completely relaxed. We're now going to do the Panchakosha Viveka meditation. All that one sees is an object, and it is not you. Following the same principle, we'll discard each and every kosha and understand that it is not your true self. Now we start with the Annamaya kosha. Now clench your fist slowly and release. I could feel that this is my body. I could clearly see this as my body. Then I am not this body. The body is impermanent. The body operates on a borrowed existence. Label it the body. And I am not this. Then what am I? Let's go deeper. Am I the pranamaya kosha, can you see your prana? The vital air going in and out your nostrils. Yes, I can feel the air going in and out. Then I am not the pranamaya kosha too. The pranamaya kosha also operates as a borrowed entity. It depends on some other factor to survive. Label it the prana. I am not this. Now, let's go deeper. Then, am I the mind, the manomaya kosha? Let's see if I can see my mind. More carefully watch your mind. Yes, I can see my mind. I can listen to the pleasant music around. My mind is peaceful now. Some hours back it was agitated. So many thoughts. Now relatively the thoughts have reduced. The mind also exists as a borrowed entity. Label it the mind. I'm not the mind too. Then am I the intellect which controls the mind? the Vijnanamaya Kosha. Can you see your intellect? I am not the Annamaya Kosha. I am not the Pranamaya Kosha. I am not the Manomaya Kosha too. Now, can you see your intellect? Yes, I can see my intellect. Sometimes it understands something. Sometimes it doesn't understand. If I ask you, how much is 10 plus 10? You say 20. You can see this 10 plus 10, 20 in your mind so vividly and clearly. Which means you can see your intellect. Then I am not the intellect too. Let's dive a little deeper into ourselves. Here I hit a state of blankness, a shunyata, absence of any thoughts. Bliss with ignorance. Can you see this Anandamaya Kosha? Yes, this is there sometimes, it is not there, excepting in my deep sleep state. So this too is impermanent and has a borrowed existence. So I am not the Anandamaya Kosha. I am not the Vijnanamaya Kosha. I am not the Manomaya Kosha. I am not the Pranamaya Kosha too. I am not the Annamaya Kosha too. Then what is my true nature? Your true nature is that which is able to see all these five koshas. It is a subject, the seer, the drashta, the knower, and everything else is the seen, is the drishya, and is the known. And that seer is the supreme truth, which is eternal, infinite, changeless, formless, omnipotent, and omnipresent. Can I see this supreme truth? This supreme truth is Swaprakashita, self-luminous. It cannot be perceived by the five senses, and it cannot be known by the mind, because the senses and the mind, they borrow consciousness and existence from the supreme truth. Then can I feel this consciousness? Yes, you can. Can you slowly raise both your hands about 6 inches from wherever they are? Hold them in midair Can you feel a wave of energy in your hands? A wave of consciousness in your hands? Slowly bring down your hands. That is consciousness, the Chaitanya Shakti, the Chetana Shakti, the awareness, which is the supreme truth, which lends existence and consciousness to everything around. All your five koshas, to all the beings in this planet and universe, to the entire multiverses. That is the supreme truth. And that is you. Tattvamasi. The more you practice this awareness within yourself, the more the mind starts getting weaker in terms of agitations, worries, anxieties, emotions, depression, anger, always be in your awareness. Practice being in the awareness. As much as you can. It could be for a few seconds. Keep going. Now slowly rub your palm. Place them on your eyes and gently and lovingly open your eyes. I hope you all had a wonderful experience. We almost did a 25-minute meditation today. I'll switch on the Q&A. If you all have questions, please come on Q&A. Yes.
Hari Om, Guruji.
Hari Om, Suresh. Yes, please.
Regarding this Guru Ayurappan story which you had narrated, how come those dacoits have the good fortune of interacting with the Lord Himself? They have lived a life of sin.
Yeah. So you have seen there are so many demons also of the highest order, like Ravana,
Hiranyakashipu, Shishupala.
All
of
this
them
is
live
there.
a life of sin and then they get moksha, is it?
Yeah, but that is their karma. That is what you are saying is right. They got the darshan of the Lord. But the unfortunate thing is, they have not realized that He is God.
Even this Bhakt did not realize it until he got that ring back from the pujari.
But he had his firm determination and faith. See, that is what saved him actually. And he was fighting not for that gold or for that money, but he was fighting for that Bhagavatam book.
Correct. No, true. But then on the matter of recognizing the Lord, both of them are in the same plane. Both have met the Lord.
Yeah. True.
What do we learn from this?
No, what you learn is eventually...
Too big a sinner, then...
No. It is, see, I'll tell you, we have to take the positive aspect over here. Didn't God come and save this his devotee? That is what we saw over here. Enough for us. Yes, that's enough for us. Let's not get into too many other complicated issues, because there are always the lighter shades and the darker shades also. We know for a fact, yes, if we are devoted, we have that Shraddha, then God will come and save us. In the process, yes, He has to save from some evil only, eventually. What is the meaning of saving? From some evil He has to change. That could be an abstract thing, or it could be a person or an object, whatever it is. Yeah?
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Anybody else with a question? Yeah, Chetna? Hari Om.
Hari Om, Srinivas.
Yeah, tell me.
Preeti.
Yeah, so you want to ask a question? Please, go ahead.
Yeah, meditation was firstly a very nice experience. And when we are doing meditation and we say that look at your body.
Yeah.
So when we look at body, do we look at the body from our mind, or do we look at ourselves? Or we look at both?
Yeah, good question. See, why we say clench the fist is you don't have to open your eyes. When you clench your fist, you know that there is you can feel your body as though you have seen it. Otherwise, I could have said open your eyes and then see your body and then close your eyes. Since your eyes are closed, you clench your fist and you understand that this is the body. We can make out, isn't it? So to make yourself understand, and in the next course when you do for your prana, you can see the breath slowly going in and going out. And then you can also, if at the tummy level also, you can see when you breathe in, your stomach bulges, and when you breathe out, your stomach goes inside. So at these two levels, you can see the prana. So that is also visible. Then eventually at the mind level also, you can see thoughts coming in, going in. Not only at this point, but earlier also experience you have seen. There were so many thoughts. And sometimes it is sad, sometimes it is happy. That way you negate each and every impermanent part of your body. This is Nitya Anitya Vastu Viveka. What we did on the Panchakoshas. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Bye, Hari Om. Anybody else? Okay. Shall we conclude over here? I think no more questions. Om. 'Om 'Purnamada 'Purnamidam 'Purnasya 'Purnasya Purnasya Purnasya 'Purnasya 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 ' पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरि ओम तत्सत्। श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। श्री कृष्णार्पणमस्तु। We offer our humble salutations and gratitude to the Almighty and the entire Guru Parampara for having blessed us with this knowledge. We beseech in them to make this knowledge a living reality and experience in our lives, to achieve peace, success, bliss, compassion, and eventually reach the lotus feet of the Lord. Hari Om Tat Sat. So, thank you everybody for being a part of this wonderful divine journey. Let's meet up day after tomorrow. Hari Om.